106 episodes, gone. Not lost in a fire, not stolen, erased on purpose by the people who made them. This is the story of Doctor Who's missing episodes, and it's not actually over yet. You'd think a show this famous would have every episode sitting safe in some archive. This is one of the rare cases where it doesn't. Picture an engineer in a BBC storeroom in the late 1960s. He's holding a 2-inch videotape. On it, an episode of Doctor Who, already broadcast, already repeated once. He erases it, records something else over the top. On the paperwork, 3 words justify it. No further interest. That happened on purpose to episode after episode for over a decade. Here's why. A single 2-inch tape cost about the same as a car back then. The BBC didn't have unlimited shelf space for thousands of them. Union contracts with the actors and musicians only allowed a show to be repeated so many times before repeating it again cost more money. And nobody in the 1960s had a video player at home. There was no market to sell old episodes to. As far as the BBC was concerned, television wasn't something worth keeping. It was ephemeral. Watch it once, maybe twice, then move on. So they reused the tape. Again and again and again. By the time anyone thought to stop this, 106 episodes of Doctor Who were gone. Wiped by the same organisation that made them. 253 episodes were made across those years. At one point, close to half of them didn't exist anywhere in the world, in any form. Here's the question that actually matters. How much of that is really gone for good? In 2013, a man named Philip Morris goes looking. He runs an archive that tracks down old broadcast prints around the world. He'd already spent years doing this. Chasing leads through countries the BBC never bothered tracking once a print left London. This time it takes him to a TV relay station in Jos, Nigeria, a building that had nothing to do with Doctor Who, just a place old broadcast prints happened to end up, and nobody had ever cleared out. His own words on the moment he spots them. I can remember now seeing a piece of masking tape that said Doctor Who on it, and I thought, oh, this is interesting. 9 episodes, all 6 parts of one story, Enemy of the World, complete for the first time in decades. 4 episodes of another, The Web of Fear. They'd survived because nobody in Nigeria ever got the memo to destroy them. Film prints had been shipped there through Hong Kong for broadcast, on actual reels, while back in London the original tapes were already gone. The Web of Fear is where a young actor named Nicholas Courtney first plays the character who'd later become the Brigadier, a role that would run for 40 years. Writer and lifelong fan Mark Gatiss put it like this when the find went public. As long as I have been a Doctor Who fan, there has been one story I hoped and prayed and begged I would one day see again. The Web of Fear is the quintessential Doctor Who story. Missing count, down from 106 to 97 in a single find. You'd think that's the ending. It isn't. Because a team has been quietly working this problem since 1992. The Doctor Who restoration team. They don't just clean footage, they rebuild it. One process, called vidfire, restores the fluid motion of videotape to film prints that were never shot that way. Another decodes color information that leaked onto black and white prints as microscopic dots invisible to the eye and pulls the original color back out of it. Even the sound gets rebuilt. Old dialogue, buried under decades of hiss and noise, gets pulled back out through source separation, isolating a voice from everything recorded around it. Frame by frame. Their own rule is strict. Fix the damage time did to the film. Leave the mistakes the original crew made exactly where they were. A wobbly prop stays wobbly. The goal isn't a better version of the story, it's an honest one. That's decades of quiet, careful work, chasing a number that mostly just sits there. 97 missing for years. By 2026, that team's been at this for over 3 decades. Longer than some of the people watching this have been alive. Still not finished. Then, in March 2026, it moves again. A film collector dies. Somewhere in his estate is a stack of old prints. Nobody in the family has any idea what half of it even is. A charitable trust called Film is Fabulous gets involved, going through it properly instead of throwing it out. Inside, 2 more missing episodes. from a 1965 story called The Daleks' Master Plan. Episode 1, Episode 3. Episode 2 of that same story had already turned up years earlier, on its own. These two finally completed the trilogy that opens the whole 12-part serial. A story nobody could watch properly for 60 years, missing exactly the pieces that would have let them. One of the surviving actors, Peter Purvis, gets ambushed with a private screening of his own performance, one he hadn't seen in 57 years. His reaction on record: "My flabber was gasted and I was a little bit speechless for probably half an hour." April 4th, 2026. They're screened publicly at Riverside Studios for the first time since the 1960s. Demand for tickets is high enough that it reportedly crashes the venue's own website. Then, over Easter, they're released to everyone on BBC iPlayer. Sit with that for a second. In the 1960s, the BBC wiped these tapes because there was no home video market. Nobody to sell them to. No reason to keep them. In 2026, 2 episodes turn up in a dead man's garage and demand to see them crashes a theatre's website. The exact thing that didn't exist yet, back when they hit erase, is the exact reason people are still looking now. Missing count right now, 95. Here's the part that doesn't fit a clean ending. Nobody actually knows where the rest is, or if it even still exists. There's a lead nobody's ever fully chased down. Old film prints were also sent out to Royal Navy ships and submarines so crews could watch something on deployment. Nobody's traced where those copies ended up. They could be sitting in a naval archive somewhere. They could be landfill. Nobody's checked. There's also a clock running on this that nobody talks about. Restoration can fix a scratch. It can fix faded color. It can't fix film that's already rotted past the point of being readable at all. Every year a reel sits forgotten in someone's damp garage is a year closer to it being gone for real, not just misplaced. And the 2026 find only happened because one family, going through a dead man's belongings, decided to check with an expert instead of just clearing the house. He wasn't even a Doctor Who fan. He just happened to be the kind of person who kept things. Nobody in his family knew what they were sitting on until somebody outside the family looked properly. How many other collections like his are sitting in a skip right now because nobody thought to ask first? Film is fabulous. Is still asking right now publicly for anyone in that exact position to do the same thing. Somewhere, in an attic or a garage or a dead collector's storage unit, there might be a film can with nothing written on it but a date. No name, no idea what's inside. 95 episodes are still officially missing. Nobody knows how many of them already survived, just sitting, unlabeled, in a box nobody's opened yet. That number's already changed twice. It'll almost certainly change again. Nobody knows when. Nobody knows where from. Nobody even knows if it'll be a restoration team archive, a Navy storeroom, or another stranger's garage that gets there first. That's the part still genuinely unsolved.